As a child, Jesus grew up surrounded by hardship. His family struggled to make ends meet, and opportunities were limited. Education was a luxury, not a guarantee. While other children dreamed of becoming doctors, engineers, or celebrities, Jesus dreamed of something simpler: to sing, to be heard, and to share the message he carried in his heart. Music was not just entertainment for him, it was a lifeline. When the world felt too heavy, he sang. When hunger, rejection, and loneliness pressed in, he sang louder. On the streets of Manila, Jesus became a familiar sight. Dressed simply, sometimes barefoot, standing on busy corners or near small markets, he would close his eyes and sing with everything he had. Some people stopped to listen. Some dropped a few coins. Many walked past without even noticing. But those who did listen felt something different. There was pain in his voice, but also hope. There was struggle, but also strength. And above all, there was a message that went deeper than the song itself. Jesus believed that music could heal. He believed that songs could carry truth where words alone failed. He often sang about love, forgiveness, and faith, not as concepts, but as experiences he lived every day. He sang about believing even when life gave you every reason not to. For him, singing was prayer. Singing was survival. The idea of auditioning for America's Got Talent felt impossible. AGT was a world away from Manila geographically, financially, and emotionally. The judges were global icons. The stage was intimidating. And Simon Cowell, known for his brutally honest critiques, was not someone you expected to impress easily. But something inside Jesus told him to try. He believed that if his message was strong enough, it would find its way to the right ears. Getting to the audition was a miracle in itself. With the help of people who believed in him, friends, strangers, and supporters who saw his passion, Jesus managed to travel to the United States. For the first time, he was stepping into a world he had only seen on screens. Everything felt unreal. The size of the buildings, the speed of life, the language, the culture. It was overwhelming, but he carried one thing with him wherever he went: faith. Backstage at AGT, surrounded by performers from all over the world, Jesus stood quietly. Some contestants warmed up loudly. Others paced nervously. Some looked confident, even arrogant. Jesus closed his eyes and whispered a prayer. He was not there to compete. He was there to deliver a message. Winning was not his goal, being heard was. When his name was called, he walked onto the stage slowly, humbly. The lights were blinding. The audience buzzed with curiosity. The judges watched closely. Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, expression unreadable. Howie Mandel smiled politely. Sofia Vergara looked intrigued. Heidi Klum waited patiently. At that moment, Jesus was just another contestant to them. Unknown, unproven, and easy to dismiss. The first question came, asking where he was from. When Jesus answered that he was from Manila, there was a murmur in the audience. Then he explained his journey, his life on the streets, and why he was there. His voice trembled slightly, not from fear, but from emotion. He spoke honestly, without drama or exaggeration. He did not try to impress. He simply told the truth. Simon Cowell asked why he chose this stage. Jesus looked directly at him and said that he believed this was the place where his message could reach the world. There was something about the way he said it. Calm, sincere, unwavering. That made the room feel quieter. Then it was time to sing. The music began softly. The first note left his lips, and instantly everything changed. The audience leaned forward. The judges straightened in their seats. This was not just a good voice. This was a voice shaped by suffering, faith, and resilience. Every word carried weight. Every note felt personal. The song was powerful, but it was the message behind it that truly shook the room. Jesus sang about love in a world full of hate. About light in the darkest places. About believing when you have nothing left. The lyrics were simple but profound. He was not performing for applause. He was sharing his soul. As the song built, his voice grew stronger, more confident. You could hear the streets of Manila in it. You could hear every night he went hungry, every rejection, every prayer whispered into the dark. The audience was silent, many with tears in their eyes. Some covered their mouths in disbelief. Others held hands, feeling something they could not explain. Then the camera cut to Simon Cowell. For a man known for his skepticism, his sharp critiques, and his emotional restraint, this was different. Simon's expression softened, his eyes glistened, he leaned forward, fully engaged, completely present. This was not just another audition, this was a moment. As the final note faded, there was a brief silence. A deep, heavy silence where no one wanted to break the spell. Then the audience erupted. The applause was thunderous. People stood to their feet, cheering, crying, shouting. Jesus stood on stage, overwhelmed, tears streaming down his face. He bowed his head, hands shaking. The judges were visibly moved. Howie Mandel wiped his eyes. Sofia Vergara clapped with genuine admiration. Heidi Klum smiled warmly, nodding in respect. But all eyes were on Simon Cowell. When Simon finally spoke, his voice was quiet, controlled, but emotional. He said that he had heard thousands of singers over the years, but very few had made him feel something this deeply. He talked about authenticity, about truth, and about how rare it is to see someone use music not for fame, but for purpose. He admitted that Jesus' performance reminded him why he fell in love with music in the first place. Then came the words no one expected. Simon said that this was not just a great audition. It was a message the world needed to hear. The audience cheered again, louder than before. Jesus covered his face, unable to contain his emotions. The votes were unanimous. Yes, 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 yes. But in that moment it felt like something bigger than a simple yes. It felt like recognition, validation, redemption. After the audition aired, the world reacted. Social media exploded. Clips of Jesus' performance spread across platforms, reaching millions within hours. People from different countries, cultures, and beliefs shared the video, commenting on how deeply it moved them. Some said it restored their faith. Others said it reminded them to keep going. Many said they had never cried so hard watching a talent show. People began calling him Jesus from Manila, not because he claimed to be divine, but because of the way his message touched hearts. Interviews followed. Journalists asked about his past, his faith, his plans. Through it all, Jesus remained humble. He repeated the same message again and again, that he was just a messenger and that hope belongs to everyone. As the competition continued, Jesus faced new challenges. The pressure increased, expectations grew. Critics emerged, but he stayed grounded. Every time he stepped on stage, he remembered where he came from. He remembered the streets, the hunger, the nights of doubt. And he sang not to prove himself, but to honor the journey. Whether or not he went on to win the competition became almost irrelevant. He had already won something greater. He had been heard. His story had crossed oceans. His voice had reached people who needed it most. Simon Cowell later spoke about the audition in interviews, saying that moments like that were rare, and that they reminded him why shows like AGT still mattered. He admitted that he was genuinely shaken, not just by the voice, but by the message and the man behind it. The story of Jesus from Manila is not just about talent. It is about courage, the courage to dream when the odds are stacked against you. It is about faith, not just religious faith, but faith in yourself, in humanity, and in the power of truth. It is about the idea that sometimes the most powerful voices come from the quietest places. In a world obsessed with perfection, Jesus showed the beauty of imperfection. In a world chasing fame, he reminded us of purpose. And in a world divided by differences, he delivered a message that united millions, if only for a few minutes. As you think about this story, remember that greatness does not always start on big stages. Sometimes it starts on a street corner with a simple song and a heart full of hope. And sometimes all it takes to shake the world is one voice brave enough to speak its truth.